morning, everybody. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, this is your Wednesday wrap-up. How's it going, buddy?
Man, it was already a good morning, and then the Wednesday wrap-up gets started.
Yeah.
Days goated already.
Absolutely. So, I guess let's kick this off with,
Wow.
no, because it's kind of a bummer note. Jamaica got hammered by one of the strongest hurricanes in recent memory. So we hope that everybody stayed as safe as possible, and that rebuilding isn't a crazy task. Some of the images that you saw this morning, if you guys have seen it, it got ran over pretty good, and going through the island, it was still a Category 3 by the time it made it to Cuba. So I mean, it's that thing was a monster.
Yes, sir. No, definitely our hearts and prayers go out to those people. I mean, that's awful to go through. And yeah, this is the comment that got the wow for me. It wasn't about what you're about to say. Herb dressed up as himself. So
yep. I mean, so we do have Halloween this week, and of course it's a Friday, so that's cool. You doing anything fun?
So apparently, instead of us being home to hand out candy, we are going out with other couples that have kids and going trick-or-treating with them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that means dressing up or not. I haven't been giving my orders.
You are dressing up. You may not know it, but you are dressing up.
Yeah. I don't think she knows it either. So I imagine sometime around 4:00 while she's still at work, I'll get the text that says, "Hey, we need to go grab some costumes." So that's kind of what I'm planning on, the last minute chaos.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So off to Spirit Halloween. I got you. Shout out to them.
Well, lucky for me, I already have costumes at home because of the skits we've done in the past. So,
perfect.
Good luck to her, but I'm already ready.
Well, and plus you're a guy, so you don't care if you wore it before.
Correct.
I wore this one 15 years ago. I can't wear it again. It's like nobody remembers. Like you could have worn it last year. Nobody would know.
Yes. You know that favorite outfit that I like that you wear? You can wear that every week. I'm good with that because you look great in it. So
right. Yeah. Whereas for guys, it's like these jeans are 12 years old.
Yes. And they fit great. They are perfectly broken in. Exactly. They will continue to be the jeans until you snatch them one day and throw them away.
So if you had to dress up, what are you wearing?
The first thing that comes to mind I have in there is a Darth Vader outfit that I wore to represent the University of Georgia. So that's the first thing. Otherwise, you're probably getting a wig or an old man costume or something generic. So,
I got you.
So,
right on.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be a pirate this year. I figured that'll be good. Plus, that'll be something that for our daily show, I'll pop on that. I'll pop on that dressed up. So
there you go. There you go. That's much easier. When I did the Darth Vader, I couldn't breathe in that thing. So I was like, "Can we hurry up?"
It'd be hard to hear you probably. So be muffled for the mic and
Yep, I was dying. Maybe I'll rethink my costume.
Well, I mean, so rarely does it seem like it lands on a good day, right? Like,
right.
It's on a Friday, but when it lands on a Friday or a Saturday, it's like, oh, nice, because usually it's like the middle of the week or whatever, and so you end up like we always do a party with our friends, and it always ends up being like not on the day. So it's weird when it gets to be on the day, but then you also know that anybody that has kids aren't showing up.
That is true. So, what up, Nick?
That being said, there is a lot of sports that happened over the last week, and most notably last night, Toronto ties up the World Series at a game apiece, and I thought this was going to be a Dodgers in 6. Obviously, that can still happen.
Right.
But if they're if Toronto can get their bats to consistently be alive,
right,
they can win. They do have a path to win this series, especially because they got a win against Ohtani, which, I mean, let's be honest, everybody kind of thought they were going to lose that game. So
yeah.
It is encouraging if you're a Toronto fan or if you're just a Dodgers hater, because I fall into the latter end of that. Is any of the monsters that just try to buy rings, I want to see lose, right? So Yankees in the 90s and the Dodgers now, it's like, yeah, I want them to I want them to lose just on principle. Right.
That brings up a good question. Who did you root for last year? You skip the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't root for anybody. That was one of those. Can they both lose? Like,
it's funny because last year I definitely rooted for the Dodgers, and then this year I'm rooting for Toronto. I'm glad it's my. If I was like, hey, pick a favorite player in the whole thing, I'm definitely going with Guerrero for sure.
Yeah.
So, my question for Toronto now, especially that's why, is Springer okay? Have they had any further word like this morning?
So I haven't seen an update. Yeah, I haven't seen an update for him yet.
Yeah.
So,
but no, you're right, because Ohtani didn't pitch badly last night, but Guerrero finally got go. I mean, I know he's been hitting well, but they mentioned needing a home run for him. He got that early one, and Toronto pitched well enough to hold that lead, so that was good.
And then they had some late runs, right? Like the 7th was huge for them.
Yep, to add on to it.
Exactly. Because, I mean, when you're playing the Dodgers, you need a buffer because they can rip off runs in a hurry.
Yep.
So, and it was one of the things I said before the series is for Toronto to win, they're going to need their bats to look like they did against the Yankees. Like, they're going to have to be ripping the cover off the ball, because if they were playing like they did against the Mariners where they're sneaking by a run, against the Dodgers, you lose those games.
No. You manufacture runs in one inning and you're like, all right, we got 4 batters, we got this, we got a guy over, we got to run. Then the Dodgers come up and slap a home run in 3 and you're like, okay, we're behind again. It's like in football, that running team versus that team that's airing it out, and the team that Notre Dame in the championship doing like a 20-play drive to get down there and score, and Ohio State comes back in a couple plays and scores. All right, we're tied. Now what are you guys going to do? We're like, well, dang it.
Exactly.
I don't know that we can keep up this way. So, no, I totally get it. And true story about the World Series is funny. I didn't stay up for the marathon game this year, but last year I was watching when Freeman, we were at a family gathering and everybody had gone to sleep. My wife has already gone to sleep. So I'm watching Colorado football on mute because they're up late. And then all of a sudden the World Series is in extra innings. And I was watching when Freeman hit the grand slam. And I was like, oh, should I have stayed up till 1 or 2 a.m. to watch this one? No. But it's amazing that he did that 2 years in a row. So I like Freeman, but I'm definitely going for Toronto in this one. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it's funny because there's something. Obviously, this is just coincidental, but at the same time, Brad Paisley, country artist, right? He's sung the national anthem for 4 World Series games, right? One in 4 different years. Every time he's done it, the shortest game he's done it for has gone 10 innings. So if I have tickets to a game and they're like, Brad Paisley's going to sing the national anthem, I'm like, like it's going to be a 5 hour game.
Yes, we're going to be here late. Boss not coming in tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I was laughing because he sang it for the 18 inning one.
Right.
He had another one that was 15, and then it was like an 11 and a 10. It's just like, man.
So what is he like? Look, if I'm coming to sing for it, there better be, you better put on the show.
Right? I didn't realize he was the Buffalo Wild Wings remote. It's like, oh, if he's here, it's overtime. But
Nick, because until this show this morning, I've never heard you mention the Dodgers. So it can't be punching me in the gut if you've never mentioned them. So
calling out the bandwagon right here.
Yes. I can't go for that, buddy. I love you, Nick. But if people do that a lot though. They're like, oh, that's my favorite. I'm like, I've known you for years and you've never mentioned it. And I'm not randomly going to ask anybody about baseball. So you have to bring it up to me,
True.
So something else.
Now, I always laugh about that for like college football, right? You'll hear somebody never talk about anything, and then their team is randomly ripping off a good season. They're like, that's my favorite team. It's like, really? Because until like right this second, I didn't even know you watched college football.
Yes, dude. When Michigan won the national championship, the network that we used to be a part of, that boss posted some stuff about them, and I was like, I didn't know you liked that one.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
No, that's not fair because we've had phone conversations. Like he has my personal number and
calling out personal combos.
Come on now. Well, because he won't admit that. Yes, I have never brought it up in any of our conversations. Nick and I talk twice a week. So no, Nick, I'm not going with that. On our show, yes, we talk about football. We never talked about baseball when you invited us on your show. I've never seen you talk about it when you do your show live. Like, come on, Nick.
Nick has left.
Don't try to come. That's because Nick tried to call me out this morning, and then look, Nick called me ugly and cursed on air one day. So
okay. That's coming after you solidly, I guess.
Yes.
You're like, I ran out of sports stuff to say, so I'm just attacking you.
I'm just attacking you. So yes.
Oh, you're a bandwagon. Yeah, I mean, most Warriors fans are bandwagon for the Warriors. That's fair.
For sure. And that's fine as long as I know. That's fine.
Yeah, as long as you're not lying about it. Be like, hey, I enjoy front runners. You'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being honest, I guess.
Yep.
That being said, switching over to football and bandwagon definitely made me want to make this switch. The Patriots, man, they sure look good. And why I call them out as bandwagoners is a lot of the people that were like, we're unstoppable, and during the Brady era have since disappeared.
Yes.
Which lets you know that they weren't around for when the Patriots were awesome before the Brady era, where they were so bad.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden they are slowly creeping back in, be like, oh yeah, I never went anywhere. It's like, really? You've been pretty quiet the last 5 years. Like,
Right. And to that fact, I know some diehards that have been posting like every single time, but yes, like 90% of those folks run and hide. And that's like why Raj and I never consider ourselves like bandwagons or anything with Alabama. Yeah. We came in during the bad years for Alabama. So we've been here already for the bad. So we do get to enjoy the good. But no, for sure. And it's interesting watching because you think they're slowly coming back because they're like, is this really happening? Like the Buffalo when they're like, I think it's happening. It's happening. And now they're like, yeah, I was here all along. No, you weren't. You were just waiting for them to beat a big team. And, part of it, let's be honest, they are taking advantage of a worse schedule beating up, but you can't fault NFL teams for that. That their schedule's made up for them. So, you can only beat the teams that are in front of you.
Exactly. You do have to beat the teams that are on your schedule. But when who you're playing does matter a little bit, especially when I'm doing things like my,
power
rankings, stuff like that, right? Yep. Like I'm not looking for style points necessarily. Right, it's not college football ranking, but the quality of your opponent does play a factor because it's like, if you're sneaking by bad teams, I don't feel like you're going to play great against good teams, right? Now, if you go and beat up a bad team, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, you had to play a bad team, and then you beat the brakes off them. You're like, okay, yeah, no, I mean that's what a good team should do. So. Those things do play a factor, but when it comes to playoff time, the win column doesn't care who you played. And the Patriots are going to mess around, find their way in the playoffs, which
they are. They absolutely are. Did you ever think looking back at them and going, how did they lose to the Raiders? Like, how was that an actual thing that happened?
For real.
And then handling the rest of the skill, including Buffalo and taking, control of the division to start off. So now kudos to them. And, you know, we both like Vrabel as a coach. So not surprised he's having success. Just didn't think it would happen this quick. I mean, the biggest story we had in the offseason felt like the Diggs thing. And now that's kind of just been erased, and he's been a positive at times. So
yeah, like it's funny. He had all this preseason, offseason, whatever you want to call it, noise. So you're just like, he's going to be the problem. He's always been. And then you haven't heard anything about him.
Not at all.
Soon as week 1 happened, it was like go time.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that. I mean, in a way, it makes sense, right? It's a 1-year deal. He's playing for whatever his next contract might be. But with all the off-season noise, you were like, oh, there's no way, right? Like this is just going to be a problem from the jump. And but somehow it's kind of worked.
What's up, Chad?
What's happening, man?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just bizarro world at the moment. Yeah. But
you should put in the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. That's a bizarro world. Like, that's not something you thought would you be saying in your lifetime.
So the thing that's funny with that one is somehow they figured out how to make their defense bad.
Man,
I'm not really sure how, because they still have dudes all over that roster. But man, that defense is horrendous.
Yes, they posted the thing up there like, well, now they can't stop they have the most expensive defense in the NFL, and this is a blurb I read, so obviously I didn't do all the research on, but they're like, can't stop the run or the pass anymore. Yeah. And we're in a situation where they're 4-3, right? And the Ravens are 2-5. And this past week, it's been filled with the Ravens are not out of it. And that's an actual thread going around CBS, I think,
actually a real thing.
Yeah.
So when you look at their upcoming schedule, they have very winnable games. So
2 still against the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, and the Ravens can mess around and somehow still win this division, despite the fact that they were 1-5, which lets you know that there's also a chance that this division is won with a losing record.
Yeah, I absolutely could see it, man. Even the Bengals with Flacco aren't 100% out of it anymore. They're clearly playing high-scoring games every time. And this is funny. It's almost as if with Rodgers, they take a little more chances and they're a little more wide open, and the defense has a chance to be out there more versus a conservative person, run game. Because as much trouble as we gave Najee Harris, I mean, he hit 1,000 yards every time they were there, every season he was with Pittsburgh. So it might just be one of those. We talked about, I always use Alabama as my reference, but when we got Tua in there, the offense increased and everybody's like, did the defense go down? I was like, no, the team either scores quickly or it's a 3-and-out. And, the defense is back out there. Now, I don't know if that's the case with Pittsburgh. I think they should be better regardless of the situation, but it's an interesting thing to think about. But I'm kind of rooting for the Ravens. I like the Steelers, but I'm kind of rooting for the Ravens to take the division because that would just be hilarious.
Well, I need the Ravens too, because I said before the season,
right?
I need them to show up,
right?
And shout out to Huntley to come in and just jump right in and make that thing happen. Because obviously when they went and got what's his face from Dallas?
Cooper Rush.
There we go, Rush. He looked terrible. He looked terrible.
Yes.
I mean, he went from winning games with Dallas to looking like he'd never played football before, which was crazy. And then Huntley, on a week's notice, jumps in and is like, bam, let's go. Now, obviously, he's been in that system a long time, whatever. But
I think that's the biggest key. Doesn't Cooper Rush just seem like a long-time Dallas backup versus just being a backup? I think this kind of goes to that situation where he looked good because he had been in there for, even when they changed coaches, he was still familiar with the personnel and the system and everything. So I think that goes a lot to. I think you have to have a more veteran guy like Flacco, who's like, I don't care about the system. I know, all right, who I got? Chase, Higgins. I'm throwing to those two, and I don't really care what else you guys are trying to run. versus, he did look bad. And Hundley didn't look great the last time he was with her. It's like this time he decided to open it up a little bit more and stretch the field at times. Stuff he didn't even do when he was with Miami. It just seemed like a lot of checkdowns. So makes me wonder if they just decided to say, look, man, if you're going to drop back to pass, like, let's go downfield a little bit. So
that's right. Grip it, let's go.
Yeah. Play quarterback if you're going to be out there. So,
And, Raj, we do have more Tua saying Tua stuff. So we'll go ahead and touch on your fins right now because they need to give Tua some PR training because the stuff he says at the podium is insane to me. Like, and this one's from this week. Wow.
Yeah, I think with that, some of it has to do with being able to see guys, with their guys also up front and our guys. And I'm not the tallest guy in the back there either. So being able to see, and then, sometimes when that happens, you don't want to just throw it blindly.
So you don't want to throw it blindly, which means the 10 interceptions he's thrown is precision passing. So that's good to know. But at the same time, he's blaming not hitting Waddle on the fact that he's too short.
Which has never come up before, but
I mean, these are just things that, we're years in, and now he's saying he's too short. Like that's weird. Right. But I mean, isn't there somebody on their staff that like coaches these guys up on how to not say dumb stuff in front of the cameras? Like, I feel if there's not, can I have this job? Because man, be like, okay, let me float a couple of questions at you. Yeah. So never say that. What else you got?
Right. But I think every team has it, but every team also has that one guy who just enjoys going off script all of a sudden. And the guy who coached him is sitting over the side like this, like, hand me another drink. Like, dude, and I think at some point the coach just goes, hey, look, can you just not give the most generic, like you came up under Saban. Can you not, you have been coached on generic answers. We would rather have go Bill Belichick on them, like that is fine. But boring is better than ridiculous, and this by itself might not, might be like, okay, that's funny, but whatever. Yeah, exactly, Nick. That's what we thought when we started airing it out a little bit more, that your defense never gets a chance to rest. But dang, I lost my train. Well, just it wouldn't be bad just by itself, but like you start adding all the things up that he's been saying and the whole blaming is like at some point just stop. Just give me some generic answers, win the locker room back, and let's just move on. But,
well, if nothing else, just as a coaching staff, wouldn't you just be like, hey, you know what? You don't have media time this week. Let's just shut it down. And go tell the media, oh yeah, he's unavailable today or whatever, right? Like, I mean, because that happens all the time.
Right. So, I actually disagree with that because if you're Mike McDaniel, I keep throwing him out there because that means every problem that happens to this team doesn't look like it's you. You're back there and they're trying to fire, and you're like, well, look at what I'm dealing with, man. It's not my fault.
I mean, that's true. I guess that is true. Because I mean, at this point, you could just point to the presser every single week. You just be like,
My thing with him, like Tua, like we love you, bro, but you're making $50 million. Like you have to perform out there. We're out here diehards trying to defend you. Give us something to defend. When Raj is like, look, whatever happens, happens. If they sit him this week, I don't even care. Like that's when it's gotten bad. Because that's his favorite player. So,
and it's funny because you could hear excitement from the crowd when Ewers ran in.
Right.
A couple weeks ago, right? When they were
by the way, you guys are going to be let down.
Well, no, but I mean, at the same time, they were just like, we are so bad on the field right now. They were excited to see Ewers come in. Now, obviously, Miami had a great game this week. But,
right.
You know, so then you watch that and you're just like, okay, well, where has that been? Like,
right.
you guys obviously
Right.
can play football, so why don't we see that every week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, time to look at 26. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that season is over, really. You know, obviously not mathematically, but pretty much.
Yeah. You're at 2-6. You're almost at the point where like squeezing out an extra win here just really hurts you in the long run versus the short run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point you're probably looking at just blowing this whole thing up, right? Like you're going to move on from McDaniel. I think you finally realize that, hey, Tua is not the dude, although you still owe him a lot of money, but that doesn't seem to stop anybody anymore, right?
Right. In anything, in any sport.
No, whether you're a coach, player, whatever, they're like, we're going to eat it. Oh, well. Like,
yes. Yes. It's wild these days. So
I mean,
I think you're one positive. Yeah. Oh God. So, I mean, $50 million buyouts used to scare you, and now you're just like, second largest buyout in history. Go ahead. We're walking away after a win or a loss. We don't really care.
Their coach buyouts are more than a bunch of other schools' entire NIL.
Yes.
And you're just like, how? And you guys don't see the problem with this? Like, I don't.
No. Could you imagine rolling up to a fired coach and asking him to donate to your school's NIL? He's like, what? Yeah, you graduated from here way back in the day. We heard you got an extra $50 million all of a sudden. So, yeah.
I think you're immediately met by, I have the $50 million, but I'm also unemployed. So, got to stretch this thing.
The last point on the Dolphins, the one positive they might have is this stretch down here. If he stays healthy, I think Waddle might prove himself to be a number one wide receiver. I mean,
it'll give him a good like if I'm the GM there, you're hoping that Waddle does that so that you can move him, right? Because I mean, at this point, there's enough wrong with this team that you really kind of need more pieces, right? So I look at it as, if I'm the GM there, I just understand that what I had just isn't working. And if Waddle can stay healthy, that'll be for the first time, right? So I look at it as, hey, hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he looks like wide receiver one. Let me move on from him, because he's also been hurt most of his career. So at least for, a few games every season, I want somebody that I have every week. It's tough to win when your guys aren't available all the time, because it's not like you get to pick when they get hurt. So are they hurt in the middle of the season? Okay, cool. You can deal with that. When they get hurt just before the playoffs, you're like, well, we had a good run. Because unlike every other sport where it's a series, football's one and done. And, if you got a guy a main piece that gets hurt just before the playoffs, it's like, well, Cabo's nice.
Yes.
But that being said, that does get us to the halfway point. If you are listening on ICU Radio 97.3, stay tuned for some smooth jazz headed your way. If not, stay tuned right here on YouTube at Football-Talk, and we'll start going into our power rankings. We're also going to talk a little bit about John Gruden's take on the Bengals defense. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day for everybody in Radio Land. Okay, so let's hit this up, because Gruden is not wrong.
Defensively have drafted a lot of players over the last several years. Their philosophy obviously is draft and develop, kind of like Green Bay. This defense has not developed. I mean, they got a lot of high picks on every level of that defense. They just fired Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator. Guess where he is right now, calling them up? He's with the 7-1 Colts. So you bring Al Golden. Al Golden's a good coach, but if you don't have players, I don't care what kind of coach you are. But the Bengals defense, that was disgusting. That was a terrible effort yesterday. 500 yards versus the Jets. And the Jets don't have a receiver that I can name. I can't name their wide receivers. And they got gashed, and they weren't ready to play. And offensively, their offensive line, they haven't given an offensive lineman a second contract since Clint Bowling. I mean, this is a bunch of rental properties on the offensive line, and Burrow's hurt every year, it seems. So, we're rambling, but I'm from Ohio, and these Bengals ticked me off yesterday.
So, I mean, we knew the Bengals defense was going to be tough, like just bad, right? Because they didn't want to spend any money on it. That being said, the offense put up 38 points. That should win you games. There's no scenario in
especially
the NFL,
against the Jets.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't make the Jets put up 500 yards. Like, that is insane to me. And then on top of it, when you are going into the fourth quarter up by multiple scores and you give up 23 points in the fourth quarter, like, that's wild to a Jets team that is horrendously bad.
Yes. And missing their number one wide receiver. So to his point, Tyler Johnson, Isaiah Davis, Mason Taylor. That was the top three pass catchers.
I think Lazard got one, right? At least there was a name
somewhere
you
in there. Yes. Yes. One catch for 5 yards was Lazard. I mean, they had like 10 people catch passes. So they were just throwing to whoever they could call up and get out there and be like, whatever. They benched there. You didn't even mention that part. Justin Fields had to come back. Do the college thing where the same guys are wearing the same, same numbers, like whatever. I mean, he's not wrong, And then, like you said, you're the Bengals, and you look at this division, and you're 3-5 now, but 4-4 puts you right behind Pittsburgh. Like, we already said it's a winnable division, given everything that's happened. These are not games that you can afford to drop. So, it's interesting you said that about the defensive. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and that's why I said that, you could potentially have somebody winning this division with a losing record, because these teams keep losing games to bad teams. I mean, it's one thing when you get in a shootout with the Bills, right? And you just come out on the wrong end of it because you fumble, right? Ravens. Sure. Yep. Okay. You know what? That happens. But when you're losing games to the Jets and like those caliber teams, like, what are we doing here? I mean, I understand your defense is terrible, but your offense gave you 38. You're up double digits in the fourth quarter. You should win that game.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think the funniest thing about that scenario is immediately people went to Twitter and were like, "Oh, Flacco looked terrible in the last drive." It's like, okay, so his last drive wasn't awesome. It wasn't a turnover either, right? But it probably came down to play calling more than anything. But you're going to blame Flacco, who actually had one of his better days just overall.
Right.
That put up 38 points. Like, what are we talking about? If your offense is putting up close to 40 points, they did their job.
Yes.
Right?
They put up that.
Oh, good.
No, I was going to say that 38 points, no interceptions, no fumbles lost, so no turnovers on the offense. Your defense gave up 23 points in the fourth quarter. Like, what? You're blaming him for a couple drives? Yeah, look, they had 24 in the first half. They only had 14 in the second half. That's still good enough to win most games.
Yes.
Like, what are we talking about here, people?
And that's most games against good teams, right?
Yes.
You're talking about the Jets, who was really starting to look like they were going to be over, and they sneak out a win. So, I mean, cool, I guess. But, I don't know, man. You can't lose games like that. And the Bengals, I don't know. I guess that's the problem with only paying 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
And so Eagles Uncensored, you're not wrong. Like, the dysfunctional teams remain dysfunctional. Like, the ones that have been problems forever are still problems. So, and you can't blame GM, coaching, players, because those have all changed over that time. So then you have to look at ownership. So, and the Jets are absolutely that team. Ownership is the biggest question now, because you've watched a litany of coaches and players and GMs go through these places, and it's the same outcome every time, which lets you know that the common denominator is ownership. And, at the end of the day, unless they want to sell the team, it's just going to be more of the same.
Yep. And I think he's going with what you're basically saying right there. Yeah. You have to look at the common denominator. Like we say this with the Cowboys, right? They've had insane talent over the years, and they flame out in the playoffs every year. And there's only one common denominator, and it's Jerry Jones and how the team prepares and the distractions in the offseason. So at some point you have to start looking at, but they're never, I'm the head guy, I'm the CEO, I'm not looking at myself. So I'm like any middle management, owner, because like you said, it's the other part of that 15 to 20 years is you've had high draft pick. It's not like you're picking 30th every year and being a terrible team every year. You're getting a top 5 every year. But it's like, what are you doing? Pick one area and just say, look, for the next 2 years, we're going to build up the line. It's kind of like you said with the Bengals and their offense. Just get an area and say, let's improve that. But I honestly think everybody goes year to year and just tries to figure it out, Like the Bengals came in with a plan to build up their line. Jamar Chase fell in their lap. They went with Chase. You can't say it was wrong, but now the line has consistently been a problem from then on. And who do they value, signing? Chase, Higgins. So, now you lose your quarterback.
So, absolutely not. And here's why good teams want bad teams. Because football is a short season where every win matters. It is a one and done playoff scenario. So if you have teams that just inherently you don't have to worry about, the other owners will take that, because you're just a couple of teams closer to winning a ring every year. So, and because it's not like baseball where they do all the revenue share type of stuff, the better you do in football, the better the owner does, right? Your product is worth more, with the exception of things that are in major markets, like the New York teams, who neither one of them can figure it out. Chicago, they look better this year, but for the most part hasn't been amazing. So, I mean, when you're looking at these kind of larger markets, they can survive with a bad team, especially when you're thinking of winner in those places, because, well, it's an indoor sport for the most part. New York, it's not, but I mean, a lot of these places that are colder have domes, and, so you're looking at scenarios where your fan base is coming to you, and that's why you see places like LA, even when they have a good team, nobody's showing up, because there's just a lot of other stuff to do. Plus they just have 2 of everything. But no, I mean, when you're talking about the ownership, you're fine with there being bad owners, because it also makes you not look bad when you make bad decisions. You'd be like, yeah, I mean, we missed on this, but I mean, look at them. Like,
right.
Like they are the hallmark of bad decisions. I made one. Yes. They've made 20 years of them. So,
yeah. And for the bad owners, it sucks to be a fan of those, but they're still diehards. They're still diehard Browns fans going to every game. The owners are still making their money. So even with their bad decisions, they're still ranking in. The valuation of their franchises continues to go up. So they're like, yeah, this sucks. I want to win, but I'm not broke either. So I think we're going to be okay. Jerry Jones, I mean, has built his into a brand without having to win for 30 years, or continued his brand, I should say.
So, but he's always in the conversation. So that's the biggest thing. The ones that are always terrible.
True, that's not fair to say.
Those are the ones where it's hard, right? Like, how do the Browns survive? Because, they have one playoff run in, 30 years, basically.
Right. And they get rid of their quarterback afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, like in those scenarios, you wonder how it works. Now, obviously, there's not a lot else going on sports-wise, in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But
I can tell you how. Have you seen that clip of the kid, the Jets fan kid?
yes. I should have grabbed that. He's like, I was born into this, but I hate this team. It's actually amazing. If you haven't seen it, definitely jump on YouTube. It's everywhere, or Instagram. Instagram has it too. I didn't think about it, but I should have grabbed that because it is priceless. Because I've felt like that about my Mariners forever.
Right.
You're just like, oh yeah, spring training, they look good, and then like the first month of the season, they just don't play baseball, and you're like, what are we doing?
Right.
Obviously, we had a good year this year, but
right.
yeah.
Oh, that poor kid. I hate it. It's like he was just being drugged into the game and have to do it. So, yeah. Is MLB the only one that does share profits?
I think the
I don't think the
NBA
NBA does.
I think the NBA has something with the TV contract where there's some revenue sharing. Don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, the MLB, they're obviously different in the way that they do share.
They do. Okay. Yeah. Redistributes money from high revenue teams, primarily paying the luxury tax. Yeah. Which is why they did all those extra aprons.
Yeah. I was pretty sure it had to do with that, their TV and stuff. So yeah, I mean, the NFL is definitely a unicorn in the way that they do stuff, but it's also not the marathon that the other sports are. Right. So, I mean, every game matters and all of that. The Cowboys, to me, actually are a lot like the Mariners in the way of they are just good enough to get you in the stands. And then, but they're never going to do anything in the playoffs if they make it. Right. So I know Dallas fans are mad at this comparison, but because immediately they're going to be like, but we have rings. It's like, yeah, it was 30 years ago. Calm down. So,
Come on
nobody
now.
thinking about those. You can get those appraised at an antique store now. So just let's calm down. But no, I mean, it's funny because when you look at the revenue for the Mariners, they make a lot of money. And so it actually benefits them to just keep doing what they're doing because people keep going. You're always in the conversation, even if you don't make it. And that's the Cowboys. They're always in the conversation. Yeah. And even if they make it, they're generally one and done. So, I mean, it just, I don't know.
But even when they're bad, they're Cowboys. So it's a better version of what the Bengals are trotting out there with Dak, and CD and Pickens, and they're going to be exciting and they're going to score a lot of points. They're just not going to stop anybody. And Dak in a big game will throw you an interception that kills the whole thing, and you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is the Cowboys. But they are a big brand, But right now they are trotting out there just another version of what the Bengals are trotting out there with no defense and great stars on offense. So the Bengals with better branding. That's what I'm calling the Cowboys from now on.
Significantly better branding. Yeah. But they're also, they don't have the bad seasons that the Bengals have, right? So when you think through history, your worst seasons with the Cowboys are 8-8, 7-9, back when it was 16 game seasons. And then, so I mean, it's not like they've ever been let's go get the number one pick. Like they've been solid.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
because it was like 12-4 season, like 3 years in a row or something like that. Just never passed. And then Dak, set runner up in MVP a couple years ago. So yeah,
exactly. And forcing them to move. I mean, I don't know if that necessarily does anything for the team if the ownership hasn't changed.
Right.
Usually
bad in another place.
Yeah, I mean, usually if you see a team move, it's because the ownership isn't getting what they want from the city, right? Either it's a stadium or whatever. But moving doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be success. Now, obviously, you watched the Ravens not be the Browns anymore and win a couple of rings. I I still think it's hilarious that when the Browns came back, they made them play themselves in the same division. I thought that was kind of messed up, but funny. And then
somebody drunk came up with that idea.
Right. And of course, the Rams, they basically need to move to win a ring. It seems to be the thing. They're like, okay, we won one in this city. Now we have to move before we can win another one.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, moving doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have big success. Arizona comes to mind, right? They've moved a couple of times, and they got no rings. So moving, I don't think necessarily means anything. Ownership is really kind of the biggest thing. Is if you have dysfunctional ownership, a new city won't change that. Right.
Sure.
That would be like having somebody that's a jerk and then be like, hey, why don't you move to this town? It's like, oh, you're still the same person though. Like,
right. And there's so many more other logistics about it too. How would you even force an owner to move? Like if you bought your house right now, what would the neighborhood have to do to force you to move? Like there's so many things. This guy bought his team for, $5 billion. And you're like, hey, we now want you to go to St. Louis. Like, no, I mean, I don't know a vote or anything that would change that either. So I just don't think they have as much power over the other owners.
I mean, I could see scenarios where, but it would be ridiculous because the city and the league would have to be in on it, right? They'd be like, hey, we're going to give you the rent of the stadium for the next 15 years for free. Right. And we're gonna double your revenue from the vendors. And there's scenarios, right? Like me sitting here in Seattle, if somebody was like, hey, we're gonna give you $500,000 a year to do what you're doing, but in Charlotte, let's get in a plane. Let's go.
That's an offer versus like what he's saying. If the other owners could force them, like, hey, you suck in this city, can we make you move? No. Now, if there's
no way to make them. But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it would have to be the other owners being like, "Hey, we want a team over here. You suck where it is, and we'll give you a reason to go." Yes. Right.
Yes.
So it would still be
an offer. Absolutely would do that.
Yeah.
I absolutely would do this. It's like, Herb, you want to move the Herb and Raj podcast? How much you pay? Yep, never like Birmingham anyway.
Load up the truck. You know what? I'll buy new stuff. Doesn't even matter.
That's what I was going to say. You're offering enough. Buy new stuff. That's great. Move in the middle of the night. Like
except my studio. It has to go. I don't want to have to set up a bunch of new equipment. Yeah. I know how all my stuff
your studio
works.
Or your wife?
What's that? Are
you taking your studio or your wife? What if you only had to pack up one?
Oh, I'm taking my wife. I can buy new stuff. I'm just saying, if there was anything I was going to box up and go, it would be my studio because I don't want to have to set up my laptops and everything again, and because that's just annoying. But furniture-wise,
I think this. Yeah. Oh, that stuff can go. We want new stuff anyway. We're good.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we should hit this power ranking since we're getting close to the end of the show here. And at the bottom of the list, because we talked about them earlier, Patriots break into my top 10 on the power rankings. Niners slide a little bit because they caught an L there. I fully imagine that they will be off this thing within the next week or two anyway, just with the amount of injuries. I kept waiting for it to bite them. I think we're finally there. The Hawks
let Houston's offense get off. Yeah, that's it.
Well, especially after the Seahawks beat them up the week before. So, and that moves both of them up, not necessarily because they did anything special, but because the Niners looked bad. Packers hang out where they are. There really wasn't a ton of movement at the top. They just everybody kind of did what they were supposed to do.
Right. What are the Eagles? So my only, and this is a minor, I would switch the Eagles and Bucks only because they played and they have the same record and the Eagles beat them. And I like how you're keeping the Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers together for a minute, like they're a club down there.
Well, the thing that's funny is they're all this right there, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I know the Niners lost, the Seahawks had the bye week, but they're all tied at the top of this division here, and nobody seems to want to like break away from the pack yet.
Well, that's not true.
Record-wise, they're all still at the top of the NFC.
That's not true because the Cardinals have broken away from the pack.
They sure have. Yes. Yeah. No, the Cards are interesting because they shouldn't be as bad as they are.
No.
And like if you're an Arizona fan, you have to be frustrated with this team. Because when you look at the roster, you're like, okay, like this team should be solid. Like this should be a 8-win, 9-win team probably, right? When you look at the roster directly. And then they just can't go out and win. Like they can't finish a game. They'll even have periods during the game where you're like, okay, they're going to finally do something. Let's go. And then they just stop doing stuff.
Yeah, they have lost 5 games. The biggest margin of defeat has been 4 points. So they're not just going out and totally trashing any of these. But I mean, and like you said, they've invested in both sides of the ball. They've invested in the offense. It's like you have the pieces here. What's going on? And they're just kind of like, yeah. I think they're just not like bad enough to be the worst team in the league. So they kind of just fly by the radar. But they're never going to be competitive, and nobody will ever know why,
Well, yeah, I mean, because when the personnel, again, should be able to win games. You can't blame it on the coaching so much because they've had multiple coaches with this group. Coaches that have then gone on to other places and be coordinators and do fine. So I don't know. The Arizona just can't seem to figure it out. They're not one of the dysfunctional teams.
Right.
But they also just
aren't functional.
Yeah, like they just don't seem to have good leadership, right? Like something at the top just isn't right. But it's not in the same category as the Jets and the Browns and the Chicago for a long time and the way the Giants seem today. They're not at that bad level.
Right.
The Panthers under Tepper. So, but they're not one of the teams that seem to find their way to the top either. So, and that's actually weird. Something that we talked about on a different show was I'm actually worried about the Seahawks when Jody Allen decides to finally sell the team, right? Because, I've been a Hawks fan my whole life. As a kid, we weren't great. The 90s were exceedingly rough for Seahawk fans. We did have some entertaining stuff in the 80s, but the 90s were not kind. And then Paul Allen buys the team, and his vision was excellence, right? And in the time that he's owned the team, it's largely been a winning franchise, been to 3 Super Bowls, win 1, right? You never know what you're getting with a new ownership group. And the big thing now is it tends to be, ownership groups instead of an owner.
One guy,
It's some kind of conglomerate of group, of people that have done things that aren't generally even football people. So that's worrisome. Now it's working for Washington. So it's not that it can't work, but it doesn't make you feel good about it, right? Because you know that they're running it more like a business as opposed to we want to go win. And I want an owner that wants to win. And, maybe that's some of why Jody hasn't sold the team yet because, the other sports franchises that the Allen Group owned are already started being sold. Obviously the Trailblazers being one of them. There still is no projected date for the Seahawks. So that I'm a little surprised by that. I really thought that now that you have the GM locked up, you have the new coach locked up, you have, a bunch of pieces in place. I really thought that we would be looking at the sale of the team coming up. Yeah. And there really hasn't been any chatter about it.
Yeah, which can be good. Like you said, the thing about those groups, it always seems like a bunch of businessmen and then like one sports star, but that sports star is not in that sport. Like, is it Magic with the Redskins with Washington? It's like maybe a basketball guy in the football part, and they're just like, we just need winners, and we're like, I don't know what that means. Like, who we drafting, who we picking up, who we hiring. So it is always weird. And that person always seems to be the most vocal out of them. And you're like, I don't know if he's ever watched a football game. I don't know how this works.
I get why you go get a sports star though, because you need a hype man.
Oh yeah, right? For sure.
So I think that's
just never a hype man in that sport. That's what I don't get. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, except when you do, he's also employed by Fox, and people think that there's
true.
conflict of interest. I mean, I don't know. What do you do?
Right. There is no winning. We're going to criticize no matter which one. So,
and actually, that's a great segue. Speaking of no winning.
Wow.
This is bad. It's probably the worst beating I've ever had, except for when my mama whooped me as a kid. 422 yards rushing. You ain't winning. You're not winning. 300 yards, you're not winning. 250, you're not winning. It's not capable. Total offense, 140 yards, you're not winning. You're not winning. They had 587 yards of total offense. You're not winning. With that, special teams gave up a fake punt as well as a block punt. You're not winning. So all three phases, we got our butts kicked. Kicked. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not telling a lie. Like, they were absolutely smoked by halftime.
Yes. Yeah, that could have been worse, but Utah shut it down for the second half. I'm looking at their schedule. I have no idea how they beat Iowa State, who was ranked at the time, because otherwise, one of the questions we had about Deion, even supporters, I supported what he's done there. But one of my questions was always, do you feel like Deion can coach? We had a Colorado guy on our show one time. We asked him, do you feel like he can coach? He was like, we have no idea, but you're going to find out after you lose the Heisman Trophy winner and, your quarterback who polarizing the NFL, I get it, but was a good college quarterback for you. And now you're turning your team over again, and the results have looked bad. Like I said, I don't know how they beat Iowa State, because otherwise their one win would be against Delaware. And it's just looked bad overall. And you're the shine is kind of off of the, hey, we got you to the Big 12. The Big 12 is wide open once Oklahoma and Texas left. Yeah. They're like 5 or 6 teams in the mix every year to win this thing. Yeah. You got to be one of those, or if you can't compete there, where you go. Yeah.
There's no juggernaut in that conference. No. I mean, it's winnable.
Yes. So this would have been the time, I would have thought. So it looks like it's falling apart instead in Colorado.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, Deion makes me think of a guy like Sirianni. He really needs his coordinators to be dudes. Like, he is a good – I think he can actually be a good head coach, right? But the X's and O's may not be his part of it. Like,
more of a
he's a good hype man. He's good at all the other things, directing traffic, all of that. I just don't think when it comes down to him having to be the guy that's actually doing the X's and O's, I don't know that he's that guy. Now, maybe he is. I don't know. Obviously, I've never been in the locker room. But based on what we've seen, it seems like he really needs his coordinators to be good at their jobs, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Raj, I think this might be coming to an end. A year or two, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say he's still going to get a couple of years out of this, but it's one of those. He might play out his contract, but maybe not get a next one.
Right.
That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. We got to get out of here. If you are watching on YouTube, stay tuned in about 20 seconds where Coast to Coast goes live. Otherwise, we will see you all next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Take it easy, everybody.
Appreciate you guys.